Is it showing? What's that? I don't know what to say. It's live. I'll go ahead and admit everybody. We're missing a number of people today. I will slowly introduce different topics to each person, and we're having a little technical stuff, slow connections today. So everyone appears to be mostly connected. I want to welcome you to the Temple Municipal Court. The cases that are filed here are Class C offenses. That means technically they result in the imposition of fines and costs. They don't result in jail time. People can have warrants for not tending to their case at a variety of points in the process, but and that can subject you to arrest. But generally speaking, if you're found guilty of an offense here in this type of court, the imposition is as to a fine. Mr. Matson, if you could, I would go ahead and ask you to introduce yourself and just brief explanation as to what you do for the court. I'm going to go ahead and begin your section of the docket.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Ryan Matson. I'm the prosecutor for Temple.
So Mr. Matson represents the state of Texas in the cases that come before the court. He's not my employee. He works for the state. He is assigned to that duty through the city attorney's office. He is the equivalent of a district attorney in a higher level court. And so he is on the other side of a case. Okay, so he can't give you legal advice. He will have his own position. You may have yours as well. There is a pretrial docket meeting today, however, and those attending, that's a breakout room that we do because the judge is expected to not listen in on that conversation. And then we do a status update at the end of that meeting back here in this section of the meeting space. So I'm actually going to begin that process with Kyra Leal because I know that she has been in the court before and understands everything I'm about to explain, so we can utilize time more effectively that way. So I'll move y'all over, Mr. Matson, Ms. Leal, to that space and let y'all have that meeting. Ms. Leal, can I get you onto audio? Because let me make sure I can hear you.
Can you hear me, Judge?
Morning. Okay, I'll move you over. So just to give kind of a rundown for folks, when you're given a ticket or issued a citation, those are methods.
Yes, ma'am.
No, I'm just talking right now. So right now I just have everybody listening, but you'll have an opportunity definitely to speak because everybody will have a turn. What I want to let you know though is that given a ticket or issued a citation, those are all methods that we have under the law for accusing someone. That's what a ticket is. It's an accusation. When you give a plea, you're giving your answer or response to the accusation. There are three options for pleading: guilty, not guilty, no contest. The law presumes we're not guilty. That can change through a plea bargain. That can change through you changing it. That can change one way or the other at a trial. So there's not really a way that shifts unless you shift it or a jury or a judge makes a decision at a trial. The trial is had really where everybody talks in the room, listening to the case, and then the deciding party, which would be the judge or the jury, would make a decision about whether someone is or is not guilty. If you've pleaded not guilty, your case is moving into that process, and this is kind of a one stop. Okay. The next stop is you come into court and we just do the setting forms for your case. I set a bond, we set a date, I explain some procedures to you, and that's a fairly quick process, but it is in court. That just involves a level of constitutionality that I don't do online. Today, you can meet with the prosecutor. You can decide if you want to enter into a plea bargain. He's willing to do that. You can decide if you don't want to do that. You don't have to disclose information to that person. They have some duty to disclose certain things to you. So that's what this meeting is today, if you're on that docket. If you're not on that docket, I'm meeting with you, and actually, for reasons unknown, I just have one person today. So right now, I want to just kind of give a rundown though before we do that. If you plead guilty or no contest, normally you're found guilty, it goes on your record, you pay the fines and costs. Getting back into single. So let me just talk about options for a moment. On payment, I look at your income information and I make adjustments accordingly. Okay. And there's just a variety of options, from full payment, payment plans, reductions with payment plans, community service, a mix of those things. So I'm looking at that income information. I need a reality check about, what's happening financially in your financial life. That can feel very personal. It's appropriate for me to get that personal at that point, because I'm trying to make an order that makes sense. I'm trying to minimize how many times you have to reach out to us to adjust to what's happening on your case. Okay. So I'm asking for that information. I'm legally allowed to, but also it's something that I view as more to help you and a convenience to you. If you're not guilty, I still ask for it, because we're moving that case toward trial, and I will ultimately be setting a bond on that case. So I get the information in order to look at the bond options as well. Okay. And I'm a big fan of one form to rule them all. I don't want people to do the same information on 5 different pieces of paper. That makes no sense. If we're doing that, we try to minimize that. If we're doing that here at the court, there's a real specific reason, like there are different cases, and even though the information may all be the same stop, we've got different case jackets or files. So sometimes there's a duplication. But if we can do it with less, we will try to do that, because we're not trying to make this harder than it needs to be. Okay. But just understand, you can ask me why I'm asking for something, but and if I'm in a position to answer that, I will. Some things I'm not going to debate, so because I am the judge of the court, so I don't debate it with you, but I'll tell you a little bit about what's going on if it's appropriate. Okay, so the next thing, just kind of backing into what I said, guilty or no contest, plea accepted, found guilty, payment. So we talked about payment. Let's talk about being found guilty. So there are still options for dismissal, even where someone pleads guilty or no contest. And I want you to know how those work. There are 4 options I have available from the bench when someone pleads guilty or no contest. Let me tell you how they work, what they are and how they work. So compliance dismissals, driver safety course options, deferred dispositions, and team court are all ways to gain a dismissal. On the first one, compliance. Those are things that can be brought up to date and dismissed. There's actually many of those. They're generally in the traffic code. If you qualify for something like that, those laws specify the judge shall dismiss if. So I'll start looking for that dismissal. I won't wait for you to ask. You're welcome to ask, but I'm not going to be waiting for that, because it's not driven by a request. It's driven by me looking. But you may have questions about it. So you can ask if you're confused or you wonder if, okay. It's your case. You can ask. If I'm not going to answer or can't answer, there's legal reasons for both of those. I'll tell you briefly what's going on. Okay. So don't be shy, because it's your case. You can, just speak up. 2, the second one, driving safety course options are available for moving violations in the state of Texas. That has to do with moving violations where you a traffic code situation, and it has to be a moving violation. You have to have the right kind of license. You have to be on time. There's certain conditions that need to be met to qualify to be in that program. If you qualify to be in that program and you want to be in that program, you have to complete the program to get the dismissal. Let me talk to you about first qualifying. I'll be looking to see if you qualify. Okay. If you plead guilty or no contest, I automatically look. The second thing you need to know is that then you're required to provide license, insurance, and the court costs. Now, every ticket has a court cost and a fine, and the court cost is set by the state of Texas. The fine is set by the judge of the court. In the traffic safety driving safety option, you pay the court cost, the fine goes on hold. And if you complete the course and the record gets turned in on time, the right course, the right record, the case gets dismissed and that fine that was on hold gets waived. You save money. You keep it off your record. You do have to pay the court costs. They're not cheap. They range from 144 to 169. Those are set by the state and I can't get rid of them. There's nothing I can do about those. They don't get waived. You pay those, your course and your record. You still pay for those things, but you still save money and you keep it off your record. I'll be looking to see if you qualify on a plea of guilty or no contest. If you have questions about that program, feel free to ask. The next option for dismissal is called a deferred disposition. A deferred disposition, deferred means delay, disposition means to make final. We just simply call it a deferred in this type of court. If you want a deferred disposition in a Class C court on a plea of guilty or no contest, you can make the request of the judge and ask if it will be granted. Guilty or no contest, I'd like a deferred, and the judge can either grant it or not grant it. You're welcome to ask. I'll look at it seriously each time I'm asked. That one is driven by you, not by the judge. Okay. If you're in the pretrial docket, you can ask the prosecutor, and if y'all come to an agreement and bring it to me, I'm often inclined to grant those, but that is up to you and the other party to make a decision about whether or not y'all can agree to that and bring it to me if you want. That's the third option. On a plea of guilty or no contest, the judge decides from the bench. And that's different from other types of courts. If you've ever watched a proceeding at a higher level court, deferreds always come through the prosecution. In a Class C court, they can be requested of the judge without the prosecution, and about 95% of the cases, maybe more. If yours is different and doesn't qualify, I'll let you know, and we'll back up. Or you can bring it forward by agreement off the pretrial docket. So those are the two ways that we get to deferreds. You just ask, I'd like a deferred if you're trying to do that. The fourth option and last one I have on a plea of guilty or no contest, if you're in high school, middle school, homeschool, heading to a GED, or anything that is the high school diploma or equivalent, you can request teen court. Teen court is a little bit like a deferred in the sense that you can make the request. It's different from a deferred because I'm not normally looking at your income because you're a student. And so we shift the burden of payment onto things that you do to gain a dismissal that are designed to address what got you into the point of being accused in the first place. So we're looking at teen court and kind of pushing it because it's a good option. It's the program that has the least likelihood of reoffense in the future. Most people who complete teen court don't reoffend. Most people who complete teen court get a clear record in terms of job searches in the future. And two, and importantly, in the traffic safety context, most teen court persons don't reoffend. They are in the top group for death and dismemberment on our roadway. So it's a real win for all of us if teens do a better job in driving, because I'm less likely to see them again in the future or read about them in the paper. Because the truth is, if you're below the age of 25 and you're driving, you're in the top bracket of death and dismemberment on our roadways. Texas is the #1 state in America for those types of problems. And it's not a #1 that we're striving for. So teen court helps us address that at a very granular level, person to person. So those are the 4 ways of gaining a dismissal, even if you've pleaded guilty or no contest. And with that, I will move forward on all the cases. We're going to move both dockets. Mr. Mattson, Ms. Leal, let me get the file out. I think we're talking about the Bolton case. Is that right?
We have two, Your Honor. It's Bolton and Thornton.
Oh, excuse me. Yes.
And there was actually an offer that was extended on both of those cases. Ms. Leal's going to talk to her clients and get back to me.
Okay. We're scheduled for that final pretrial already for May 3rd at 1 p.m. So the way that I kind of view it is I set y'all on that docket with the case, and then if you come to an agreement prior to that time and get the paperwork over to the clerk's office and I approve it, then we take it off that docket. So that's just kind of a stopgap way to sort of approach it. Does anyone have any questions of either party regarding the process I'm taking there?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. Any other questions?
I think that's it, Madam.
Okay. Mr. Mattson, anything from your camp?
No, Your Honor, not this time.
Okay, so on the Bolton and Thornton case, we're scheduled May 3rd at 1 o'clock.
Thank you,
Ms.
Madam.
Ms. Lil, you're good to be excused.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, and then moving Mr. Mattson forward, Deborah, I'm going to say this wrong. Deborah Paiuta she's been having trouble logging on. She was first to appear, but her audio is not connecting. I'm going to keep reaching out to her unless she can hear me, because I do have a 512 area code phone caller that just logged in, and I'm not sure who that is. I'm going to skip that person just for now. And Kevin Sweeney, your case is next. Is your audio working? Can you unmute?
I believe so.
I can hear you. Okay,
Okay.
I'll move you. Thank you. I'll move you over to that meeting with Mr. Mattson, the prosecutor, and y'all will
All
come
right.
back. Thank you.
Thank you.
On the telephone, 512 area code, and Ms. Pauda, is that you? So I'm sending an unmute request to the phone, and it usually will click and talk to you. Telephone caller, can you unmute and talk to me, please?
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Are you Miss? I'm going to say, are you Miss Pauda?
Yeah, it's Powda.
Pauda, Miss Pauda, you're going to be next, okay?
Okay,
And just stay on the phone. The other system that you have, I've been watching you kind of struggle with it. Is that a different system from your phone? Is it like a pad or a tablet or something?
it's just my phone. I don't know what the problem is with it.
Okay, well, let's just stick with this phone. In a moment, I will actually ask you to unmute again, okay?
Okay, thank you.
I'm going to remute you because I'm going to be talking to someone else. If I talk to more than
Okay,
one person, it gets the system doesn't handle it very well. We all start canceling each other out. So, but we'll be
Okay.
back with you.
thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Ms. Campbell, Courtney Campbell, can you unmute? Good morning.
There we go.
Yes, good morning. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. I'm Judge Person.
Yes,
Uh,
ma'am.
I'm just looking at your file, and give me just a moment. Let me give me 1 minute on okay. I recall the warrants. Sheet. We had a due date of January 17th. Have we had any further extension? Have we had anything turned in? It's okay. And this started back in November. Okay. All right. So we started back in November, and I
Right.
ordered, yes, ma'am. And I ordered community service, and it was due January 17th. And then we didn't hear from you, and the case went to warrant. I've recalled that warrant so we could talk. I got a note from you that you completed 16 of your hours. I haven't received those. Where are you doing those?
I was doing it with Martha. No, with I rang the bell for
Where now?
I was ringing the bell at Christmas time, but she
Well,
won't sign off on it.
Oh, the person won't sign off?
No, ma'am, because I waited too long to get a sign.
Okay. All right. So we kind of need to back up. You need a fresh start. Don't you think?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now I have a couple of questions further. Is there anything that's preventing you from doing the community service as far as your disability goes?
Right now, I don't have a ride.
Okay. So, and you're in the local area. No, you're in the
No. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Are there any nonprofits out there that you might try to reach out to, like a church or?
There's a couple of churches I talked to.
Yeah, I have a process. Now I'm gonna have to get you some forms.
Yes, ma'am.
We have to sort of how to do that, but I need to pre-approve it if it's not
Right.
on my list. And right now I have a list and I have something that you need to sign that says you received the list and there's a waiver in there. You haven't signed that either. So we're kind of not really all the way off the ground. So I would like to back up, but I'm going to need to figure out how to get you over here to get everything, sign it, and maybe go over it with a clerk, because the part where you leave the list and use a local provider, we need to do that in the first 2 weeks. And it can be any nonprofit. That could be a church, if they're a nonprofit church. That could be an out in Nolanville. Believe it or not, long ago, I was the judge out there, like briefly. And so I know that they have police department, they have a fire department, they have an animal services department, all of which might be willing to do this work with you too. So those are some options for you to look into that might be close enough for you to get. And so my first question is, I can give you an extension. I don't have a problem with that. But my other question is, when would you be able to
Come back.
come by the court? And I hear the ride issue, so I want to work with you on that.
I can ride the bus Monday. I'll be
Okay.
there Monday for sure.
Okay. So, and I'm going to have a due date of May 23rd. And I'm just going to make a note in your file that you're coming by on Monday. And I just need to look that date up. Hang on one second. The 22nd, today's the 21st. 27th, I'm sorry. The clerk's talking to me.
Okay. Yeah,
You'll come by on the 27th
right.
to sign and get everything. There's a packet. And the part that I'm interested in you picking up is the part where you get the instructions for how to get a different provider approved, so that you aren't having to try to get a ride outside of your community.
Right.
Okay. All right.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. More than glad to do it. I'm glad you logged in so we could problem solve the issue and not have you be in warrant. Okay. Because
Right.
that's really not my goal. And I'm sure it's not yours either. Okay. The hours won't change. It's 107. Remember, there were like 8 cases that we put in there.
Right.
So I'll have that waiver form. I'll have a new timesheet with the new due date. And then we'll give you the packet of information on Monday for how to find and get another provider approved. Okay.
Is there I have a question.
Yes.
On the volunteer sheet, do I have to use the original or can I just file a paper?
Yeah, you can use the original or the one we're going to give you.
That's not my question.
Okay.
Well, you have to use one for one volunteer fire, right? Yes, use one paper for each volunteer place, right?
Yes. Yeah, because they can't supervise each other.
So can I just use paper for the second one? Do I have to make a copy of that original?
Yes. And if you come by and you need copies, we can make you some copies.
Thank you.
I'll make a note too. And there are my notes, if you come to the clerk's desk, I have notes in the file. Okay, all right. Do you have any further questions, Ms. Campbell?
No, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay, you're good to hang up, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Mr. Matson and Mr. Sweeney,
Yes.
I'm just pulling that file. I've got it. It's an accusation date of January 28th, the accusation of assault by contact. Where are we on this matter?
Your Honor, Mr. Sweeney has accepted terms of deferral.
Okay,
That will be a 120-day period with 8 hours of an anger course by day 60. And the fine will be paid in 3 installments of 99, 99, and 98.
and do we have dates on that?
I was going to let you speak with Mr. Sweeney on that. I know you like to be in court when those happen.
Yeah, I just like to coincide it with a thing that works for the person. But thank you. I will review this again with him and get the hours going. I have Deborah Pauda. Mr. Sweeney, hang tight. I'm right with you.
Sure.
Mrs. Pauda, she's been struggling with her systems, but she's on a phone. So I'm going to go ahead and move her over, but I want to get her to unmute. Miss Pauda, sorry, Miss Pauda, can you unmute so we can hear you?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am, I sure can. I'll move you over
Okay.
to that meeting, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Okay, Mr. Matson, that's moved. I didn't move her device because I don't think she needs it. Just her phone. Mr. Sweeney,
Yes.
hang tight with me for a minute. I'm letting someone in who came in late.
Yeah.
Okay, so Mr. Sweeney, the end date for the deferral is July 25th.
Okay.
And during that time, what the order will say, and you'll have a chance to read it before you sign it, but the order will say during that time frame from today until July 25th, you're on a deferred disposition. During that time, there will be the general condition that you not reoffend or get arrested or fail to appear. You're not going to be required to appear in court again, but there will be a due date of the class. I will send you a list to choose from. I just need 8 hours of anger management. You can stay on the list or go off the list, but it's a way to get started on figuring out how to find it. And there'll be a list of places that you can choose. That due date is going to be on your order and it'll be May 23rd. And then you and I are looking now on these payments, the dates that will work for you. Can you tell me for the first payment of $99, what date works for you?
It doesn't really matter.
Is it today or do we need some time?
Yeah, like a week today.
Oh,
Yeah, right now.
Sure. A week from today is the 28th. Will that work for you?
Yes.
Okay, we'll start there.
All right.
Okay, the next payment is again 99. Do you need 2 weeks or 4 weeks? What works best?
4 weeks.
That's the 25th of April.
Okay.
You can always pay early on these, but these are no later than dates.
Right.
I'll assume 4 more weeks on the next set.
Yes.
Last payment, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's May 23rd.
Okay.
And that's actually the due date for the class as well. Okay.
Sounds good.
Okay. Now I want to email this to you, and if you can print it and sign it and email it back, then we're good to go.
Okay.
Will that work for you?
Oh, yes, most definitely.
Okay. I'm going to pre-sign it, condition that you sign it. The prosecutor will sign it at a later point, but he's on record now saying,
Right.
so you're safe to go. And we'll send that to you probably just here shortly this morning. And then if we can get it back today.
I will try to today.
Is it possible to guarantee that we're going to do it?
Uh, it's gonna depend upon my work, on how busy I am at
Right.
work. I'm a claims processor and with an insurance company, and with
Yeah, I
all
saw that you worked for Progressive.
yeah, and with all the storms over the weekend and last week, I don't know what I'm coming into, because I've been on vacation. I got home last night around 2 in the morning. So
Okay. I'll need you to print it, read it, sign it. It's about 5 minutes of your time if you have
yeah,
the capacity.
yeah.
So let's,
It would just I think the only um, thing would be the scanning, but I can probably scan it with my phone. So
yeah, you can scan it or even take a picture with the phone
yeah,
and email it. We take, as long as we can read it, we're good.
okay,
Okay,
yeah. Then
so
it
we'll
shouldn't be
shoot
a
for,
problem at all.
great, we'll shoot for close of business, okay? You're in
Okay.
Temple. You have also the option of dropping by, but it seems like online is easier for
Yeah.
most people, so.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, very good. We'll send that to you. I'm signing it now, so it's probably coming your way here in a moment.
Okay. Great.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Sweeney.
Thank you. I can leave.
Yes, you can. Thanks for asking.
right. Thank you.
Okay, let me look and see. I think that I don't have anyone else that I'm talking directly with. Who? I don't. see her. Oh, yes, I do. Miss Shirky. Yes, I do see you. Let me get your file pulled. Can y'all unmute and tell me how you're doing today?
Hello, I'm doing well.
Great. Anika, how are you?
Pretty good.
Okay, and is this your mom?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and what's your name, ma'am?
Carrie Shirky, Carrie.
Okay, and the request was a request for teen court and a plea of guilty. The accusation is 67 and a 50, and the accusation date is February 23rd. It's a speeding charge. The fines and costs, if you pay them, are $259. Carrie, sorry, Anika, first, guilty, not guilty, no contest. Do you feel like you understand what those mean?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And your plea today was a plea of guilty, is that correct?
Yes.
Mom, do you feel like she understands?
Yes.
Okay, so I'll accept your plea and I will grant teen court. On teen court with this particular offense, there's a $20 fee for teen court. Is it possible to pay that fee in cash today?
Yes.
And then there'll be a course due in 30 days, April 25th. And when you come by to do the cash payment and sign your documents, we'll give you the course information.
Sorry, your audio's out right now. It kind of
Okay.
comes and goes. Oh, I heard you say okay.
Probably me trailing off and not speaking loudly enough. So with teen court, there's a $20 fee. And in this particular case, you would come by, pay that fee, sign your teen court agreement. It will mean that you have a course due in 30 days. 30 days is April 25th. When you come by to sign your paperwork and pay that fee, we'll give you course information as well. I need to shoot for today to get that done. What time will work for you?
What time is? I mean, we can really come by anytime today. So if you want to tell us when you think it would be ready.
10:15?
I'm sorry, 10:15? Okay.
That's about 30 minutes.
Okay.
Okay. We'll have everything at the front desk. It shouldn't take more than 10 to 15 minutes once you get here. Just be safe on the way and let a clerk know your name, Anika, and they'll pull everything up and y'all will review it. If there are questions, you can ask. If they need me to answer the question, they'll make sure that the question gets answered. And then you'll get copies of everything, okay? That's
Can you-
also, yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
that's
I just
also where
want-
you, sorry, go ahead.
Sorry.
Okay.
The course, is it like an essay? Is it like a driver's safety thing where you're, okay,
It's a
Is it-
driving safety type course.
Okay, gotcha.
It's just that in this context, we're not paying the court costs. I'm not getting the driving record, and I'm not waiting. This is the big one. I'm not waiting 90 days because your young driver is out there driving.
Right. Okay.
So the sooner the better.
Yes.
Okay. All right. We'll see you shortly.
Thank you.
Y'all are good to hang up. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Matson, I know that you were talking with Ms. Powda, and I believe, yes, she's back in the meeting and unmuted, I think. And so if you would, tell me where.
Your Honor,
Can you
Ms.
hear me?
Potta and I do
Yes, I can hear you. Sorry.
Ms. Potta and I do have a tentative agreement, but I think she wanted to speak with you before I went
Okay.
into that.
Okay. Yes, ma'am. Do you have questions?
I do. I have a couple. So I had initially asked if I could pay like the 144 and do the defensive driving, and they had denied me that because I had court on January 30th, and that was when the ice storm hit, and I was where I work was closed, and I assumed everywhere around was closed. So
Right.
by my assumption, I did not call in or attempt to drive in it. So
No,
that's the reason.
we were, generally speaking, we, if we were closed, we rescheduled you. Let me look at your file. Hang on just a
Okay.
moment. But then the next thing is that, hold on just a moment. So then what happened?
Okay.
When did we close? Right, that storm closed us down on the 31st, not the 30th.
Okay.
And then what happened? Hang on just a moment.
Sure.
So, and then the next thing we got from you was about, we didn't hear from you for almost a month later. It was February 23rd. And at that point, the case was already, you know, for me, like, if we were closed on the 30th, we weren't. But if we were, or you assume we were, we did open up later that week. And then we were here like the following several weeks. So I did deny that request because I would assume a couple of days, but I wouldn't assume 25 days.
Okay.
So
I guess I've not been in trouble with the law, so I didn't know if y'all would just contact me. I didn't know I was supposed to reach back out. I don't know what I thought because I don't operate from that side of the fence.
right, if you had called on the 30th on your court date, we were open.
Okay. And I did not because I went under assumption.
Yeah, I understand. But now here
Okay.
we are. Is there an agreement
Yeah.
that y'all are coming to or not so much?
Yeah, we talked about something, but as far as the first payment, I'm gonna have to pick up like a side. I'm gonna see if I can pick up some extra hours at my current employer to be able to budget in that amount because I do live pretty tight. So I was wondering if the first payment could be a month from now, so I can make sure I get the hour or some hours in if I can.
Okay,
If not,
I don't
something
know how
else.
many payments. I don't know what agreement it is. I'm not even sure what we're talking about. Let me hear from the prosecutor for a moment. I don't, generally speaking, the answer is yes to the question, but let me kind of hear what the
Okay.
landscape is. Okay, what are we talking about?
We are talking about deferred, Your Honor. It would be 120 days with the course by day 60 and payment of the fine in 3 installments, 87, 86, 86.
Okay, and then like 30, 30, 30. Is that
Yes,
how-
I have no objection to a month from now, a month after that, and a month after that.
Okay, all right. I will sort out the actual dates with her if you're okay with that. And the due date on the class, you said 60 days?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. I'm going to move you forward with Ms. Pleasant. Ms. Pleasant, can you unmute?
To me?
Yes. No, Ms. Pleasant.
Oh,
Ms. Papa, just hang on a moment. Ms. Pleasant, are you
Yes,
great?
ma'am.
Okay, let me move you over to that meeting. Okay. Think that happened. Ms. Powda?
yes.
Okay, so the deferred will be sent to you unless you're coming by. We've got to sort that part out in a moment, but the end date will be July 25th. The class is going to be due May 23rd. This will all be in writing. And then
Okay,
we're looking at 30 days for the first payment. So 30 days from today on the court's calendar is going to be April 25th.
okay.
Will that day work for you for the 87? Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
And then 60 days, the next payment, 30 more days later would be April 23rd. That's the same due date as the the class.
May 23rd.
Yes. And then
Okay.
the final payment, June 22nd.
Okay,
And now we have to think about getting your signature on this document today. And I'm looking, you're in Holland. Are you able to come by the court, or else I can email to you if you can print it, sign it, and email it back?
I can swing over there.
Okay, that's real easy because then you get a copy. And if you have any questions,
Okay,
and that we've got some
Okay.
information for how to find a class too. So we'll give you
Okay.
that. Okay.
okay.
What time can we look for you?
How late, y'all, let's see. Cause I had off today, I could probably be there, I don't know, 11-ish
Okay,
this morning.
I'll just say by noon.
Okay,
No later than noon would be great. Just when
Okay.
you get here, plan to be here about 10 minutes and just walk in.
Okay.
And any clerk can help you. Give them your name and they'll pull your paperwork up. Okay.
and that's 401 North 3rd Street.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. You're good to hang up. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Mr. Wolf will be right with you. How are you today?
I'm okay, Judge. How are you?
Good, good. I've got a few more people to let in that I'm going to talk to if you
Yes,
don't
ma'am.
mind. Okay,
Thank you.
of course. Good morning. Good morning, Miss Capps. Good morning. Miss Higdon is trying to get connected. Give me a moment. I'm getting cases pulled up. Okay. Miss Capps, how are you this morning? Let me have you unmute, and I'm assuming you're a passenger.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, you're not driving, right?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Whew.
I
It
just
looks like
can't-
you're a passenger.
I just came back from an interview, so that's why.
Okay. Well, I hope that went well for you. We did have, let me talk to you just a little bit about where I think we are. And then, I'll listen to what you need me to know. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So I'm Judge Person. And this is a situation where is that there were 30 hours of community service due back in January. And I've got a request for a payment plan, but I have some indications that could be difficult and that we really should be looking at community service instead. And I'm sort of in the balance. I'm not sure what the best decision is. I need to hear from you how a payment plan would work for you. I'm willing to allow a low payment of $25 a month, and you can always pay more. But if that puts your family into a bad situation, I can give you more time on your community service too.
So with community service, it was hard to balance out with, because I'm working part-time with my old boss right now. And then it was trying to balance it out with 2 kids on trying to find a sitter on when who can watch. And then my significant other, he works full-time right now.
Okay.
So that's where I ran into where I just was trying to figure out the time on where I could do it and that's what happened with the community service.
Okay. What do you want to do? Do you want to go for a low payment, or do you want to have more time on that service?
I could do for the low payment where it can automatically be taken out.
We don't
'Cause
do,
I'm doing-
we aren't able to set that up. We
Okay,
don't,
so I would just pay it. Sorry.
so $25 a month, right? And I need your signature on that agreement today.
Okay.
Can you come by the court and just make a signature?
Yes, ma'am, I can.
What time can we look for you to be here?
So I am in Liberty Hill right now, so it would be about an hour until I get up there.
Why don't we say around noon? That's 2 hours.
Okay.
And then when are we starting? Are we starting a payment today, or when do you want to start?
I can do a payment on Friday.
Okay. Friday is going to be the 24th. Okay. And then it'll always be you can make it on a Friday every 30 days. Okay. They'll set that up with you at the clerk's desk. Okay.
Okay.
If you pay early or more, you just get done faster. Okay. Any questions?
I just have one question. So I am gonna get insurance on the car again,
Good.
and then I was wondering, is it gonna go on the record with
Yes,
the driving record?
Yeah, it already did back in December, January, back when we first accepted your plea.
Okay. Because I'm trying to work on getting my license back, but it's just because I'm going on 7 years now with it being suspended, and I'm just trying everything I can to try and get it back.
Okay, I have an idea for you. There's a packet of information that basically you could get online. You could get online and print it. I have a printed copy. I'm gonna have that available for you when you pick up your pay, sign for your payment plan. And it's a walkthrough about what to know in order to try to get your license back. Okay?
Okay.
Okay. So we'll have that at the front desk for you as well. Okay?
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. And it's a lot of legwork, but you can do it. People do it.
Yes, because I've been trying for years. But let me. Sorry, little one was making noises.
It's okay. We'll have we'll have that at the front desk for you. Okay.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Ms. Capps. Good luck with everything. Bye-bye. See you soon. Mr. Mattson, Ms. Pleasant, where are we with regard to this matter?
Your Honor, we're going to continue to the final pretrial date, but I anticipate this case may be resolved prior to then.
Okay. All right. Ms. Pleasant, that scheduled date is May 3rd,
ma'am.
2. And if you think it's off the docket, just call and check and make sure the morning of. Otherwise be here, because I don't know the agreement and y'all may come to a conclusion. And generally speaking, I follow that, but there can be confusion. So just make sure that I, as the judge, have removed it from the docket if you think it's off. Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
The easy way to do that is to call and check.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Do you have any further questions?
No, ma'am, I do not.
Sorry, you cut out.
Oh, no, ma'am, I do not.
Okay. Thank you. You're good to go.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Mattson, I'm moving you forward with Mr. Wolf on the Aranzo case. Mr. Wolf, I'm going to assume you can unmute, but I'll ask you to do it and
Yes, ma'am.
I'll move y'all forward.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Ms. Higdon, we'll be with you shortly. You're waiting actually for the prosecutor, okay? You're not driving right now, I don't think, are you? Can't hear you. You'll have to unmute.
Got you.
I'm right here by the office, because I couldn't get on Zoom. They helped me.
Okay. I'm
Yeah.
sorry that you're having technical problems. Sweet looking dog.
Thank my new service dog.
Great. So you're able to hang on the phone, but you're not driving, right?
Oh no, ma'am, I'm parked. I'm
Okay,
parked.
very good. We'll be
Yes.
with
Be doing this. No.
right. We'll be with you shortly.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Easy. Quit chewing on me.
Okay. Okay. This is emotional. Mm-hmm. The rain. I am. Stop. Okay. Sounds good. Here's a motion. Okay. Folks, where are we on the, I'm gonna try to say this name, Aronos, on the Aronos case.
Your Honor, Mr. Wolf is going to take an offer back to his client.
Okay.
So we'll go ahead and set for final, but hopefully we'll be done prior to that.
Okay, right now we're just scheduling final, which is May 3rd at 1. And if we resolve it before then, so much the easier for everyone involved. But if we need that date, we've got it.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you. You're good to go unless you have any further questions or matters with the court.
Nothing today, Judge. Thank you very much. I apologize for being tardy.
Yeah, I everybody's kind of had that today, and I just decided not to sweat it. There's a lot of rain and interference, and you may have even had other court dates. I don't know. So I didn't harass anybody today about it. So I didn't
I
harass you
appreciate
either. Yeah. Okay. We're just getting it done today.
Thank you.
Take care. Mr. Matson, you have Miss Higdon, and she's been on. I think she might be just lurking. She's got a dog with her. So yes, hi. Hi, Miss Higdon. Okay, I'm going to move you over to the pre-trial meeting with the prosecutor, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
That's an issue. This one, she has to be here in the room. She calls in. She's consistently just asked to reset and not show up. So no more of that. I need to know where she's trying to take it because she's qualified to time serve. Yep, I have no doubt. Let's make sure.
Okay. Hello.
Hi, Ms. Higdon.
I'm sorry.
You're okay. Let me ask Mr. Matson to kind of check in. Where are we with this matter?
We are going to continue to final pretrial, Your Honor.
Okay, Ms. Higdon, we've already scheduled that for May 3rd at 1 o'clock.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
that will be here in the building, in the courtroom, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
We'll see you then.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, ma'am. I've never been there. That's probably here, right? All right. Thank you.
Yes, that's here.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Have a good day.
You too.
And I shut it off now. Yes, I know. How do you do this? Over here?
Mr. Matson, do you have anything else for the court?
Not at this time, Your Honor.
Okay, you're good to go. Thank you.